Those in power have for centuries tried to parade the Apostle Paul, the author of Romans 13, as their poster boy for silencing criticism. But be careful who you pick as your poster boy. That decision might bite you. And Paul is the perfect example. There is something enormously inconvenient about this man, Paul, and it's the history of his life. I'm Jeffrey Rosario, a historian of religion and politics, and this is part 4 of Does the Bible Condemn Political Dissent? So, was Paul, during his actual life, quiet about government abuses? Spoiler alert, Paul's life did not model passive compliance. He challenged the powers that be. He accused the rulers of his day for the unjust assassination of Jesus. He protested corrupt uses of the law. But if nothing else, just consider what he did at Philippi, a major Roman colony. Authorities there snatched him up, used excessive force, and put him in custody with no evidence, no justification. Then they realized that they had no right to detain him, and so they tried to release him without drawing public attention. Keep it off the record. But Paul was like, I don't think so. You ain't doing this quietly. They had apprehended him, assuming he was not a Roman citizen. He said, they beat us publicly without a trial, even though we are Roman citizens, and threw us into prison. And now they want to get rid of us quietly? No, let them come themselves and escort us out. In other words, you don't get to abuse power and then squash the evidence. He wouldn't let them off the hook for unlawful detainment and for violating his rights as a Roman citizen. I ain't gonna lie, that kinda sorta made me think of how some people today might relate to Paul's experience. You see, Paul knew about due process. That's why they were afraid when he confronted them. He turned a private legal violation into a public confrontation with civil authorities. And there's a name for that: civil disobedience. Paul was schooled in a biblical tradition rich in that stuff, from the Hebrew midwives in Egypt to sabotage Pharaoh's oppressive policies, to Daniel's companions in Babylon who defied the narcissistic decrees of the king. And how does Paul's own story end? He was executed for posing a threat to authorities in both Jerusalem and Rome. So if you want a poster boy to teach passive compliance for your political agenda, Paul is a terrible choice. Just saying.